everybody. This is Liz, and today we're bringing back somebody to the show that was here before, but she has a different name because she got married. So remind us who you are.
I am Brittani VanDyken. Once was Brittany Strong, and I did just get married.
That's so exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So we had a previous interview where we learned a lot about you and the journey that brought you to Augusta. Today, we want to go a little deeper and we want to find out a few other things about you. We want to go a different direction. So how long have you been with Augusta now?
It will be a year in February.
So not even a year yet.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And how has your journey been so far? Give us a recap.
Okay, so I would say my journey has been steadily evolving and it's super supportive. I came to Augusta knowing my skill set and unsure of where I could place them in the company. And so I took that challenge to understand the big picture of the company's goal and the path that they were trying to reach on this goal. And once I became aware of like the big picture, I started to curate a plan on how my skills could help us reach the goal. And then I was given the opportunity to display my plan, and then I was rewarded with the chance to follow through.
Yeah. So how has your role changed since you started?
I started as a call agent, and now I'm a training specialist.
Wow. Things have evolved fast for you.
Definitely.
So you know that Augusta does change fast. Has that change intimidated you?
No, actually, I found myself, I thrive off of it. The fast change and the constant pace keeps my ADHD, the pinging from multiple projects, multiple teams, just I thrive in it. So I enjoy it a lot.
That's awesome. Because we are a startup, we can't offer all the benefits that we would love to offer. You've been offered several different jobs. So what makes you stay when you could have positions in other places and actually make more money up front?
So Augusta, I feel like saying that Augusta is a startup and we can't offer much doesn't, there's so much more that Augusta offers all of their employees that I think if you come in with the mindset of like, what is this company going to give me instead of the mindset of like, how can I provide something for this company? You get more out of that mindset than what can the company give to me. So for what Augusta has offered me is the opportunity to create a work-life balance. And it has supported all of my needs to be able to show up the best way that I can for Augusta and for my fellow teammates. And that you really can't find in any field of like how much, depending on how much you get paid or anything, it's the balance to life to work that keeps me staying here.
And there's the saying about ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your company. I always say to myself, ask not what your company can do for you, but what you can do for your company. And I think that rewards just follow when you do that.
Yes.
First of all, I want to jump to the topic for today. What is your current role and what all does that entail?
So I am a training specialist, and that entails me curating learning management systems that can be used by anyone virtually and in person. And this is just to help eliminate mistakes that add unnecessary cost to the company.
And how has the training evolved over time? Like what did you come in experiencing about the training, your training, and what you had heard of it before?
Okay, so my past training material, the past training material could not keep up with the growth of the company. It was outdated, disorganized, and poorly managed. The current standards of the training material are matching the company's growth. They are organized and they're being managed efficiently.
What is your plan to make it better?
I plan to manage the learning system to ensure that the program evolves with the company and focuses on the needs of our learners to stay organized and to make sure that the information we are handing our learners will help them reach the expectations of the company so that we can achieve the success we're trying to get to.
How did you get experience developing training material? What kind of experience did you have in the past? And do you feel that those gifts are going to be fully utilized here at Augusta?
Yeah, 100%. So my training history started when my middle child was diagnosed with autism at 3, and I had to learn how to modify a neurotypical world to fit her special needs. And so I spent about 13 years in multiple different learning therapies where therapists had to teach me how to teach her outside of the classroom environment. So there was a bunch of skill sets that I acquired in those 13 years to modify basic things that we would see or we would conceive to be like, oh, that's self-explanatory. And sometimes it's just not. And so you got to be able to curate how you hand information to people so that they can, because everyone is capable. You just got to figure out what kind of information and how you're creating. I call it, I reference this a lot. It's like the sandwich of information. And I want to make sure that the sandwich I'm giving to every person can be digested. And so in 13 years, I had to learn whether it was OT therapy, ABA therapies, how to modify how a child learns on multiple levels for like 13 years. And then eventually I went to school and I got an early childhood development degree. I opened my own Head Start program where I taught military children to a level that they could skip kindergarten and go straight into first grade. And then I started consulting and directing for multiple farms in the area, and where I did basically the same thing. I curated training material for their individual needs at each individual farm. So that's kind of like how I've developed all of these skills and how I implement them.
Mm-hmm. So do you believe everybody has a different learning style?
Oh yeah, 100%. Everybody has a different learning style. The only thing that is similar in everyone's learning style is the forgetting curve. Us as humans, we will constantly forget. And so it's like, how do you keep giving information in a manner that we keep it in a different core base
Mm-hmm.
of our memory so that we can implement it and we don't need to be reminded. So
How can you teach a whole class of adults and try to bring some sort of balance to pull all that into one training?
it's about engagement and keeping them fully engaged. And sometimes when we are teaching people, the book you had me read, oh God, it mapped it out perfectly. It's like everything I've been trying to do is like you have to make sure that your material that you teach so that it can be remembered has certain memory points in it. And so
Mm.
throughout all of my curriculum, there is humor. There's a way to relate. There are ways to ignite your brain to remember the certain thing that I'm trying to hand you in a way that you will hold it longer than if I just handed you the information. So if I hand the information with a little bit of humor sprinkled in there, or if I hand the information with a little bit of relatability, then they're going to hold on to it longer.
Mhm.
So it's just being very intentional and understanding how the information is continuing to, how I build my sandwich to give somebody to eat.
Wonderful. And at Command Center, there are lots of call agents, and all those call agents manage people overseas and manage others. How do you plan to tailor make that for an organization that has never been before? We're building the manual together, writing it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So with this, I have one training core base with which is all the training materials. So the curriculum I've built, and then I have two plans to the curriculum. So whether we are training virtually, we can take the curriculum and apply it to the plan that is virtually, or we take it and we apply it to the plan that is in person. But the material stays the same. And in the material, in the side notes, there's two options how you navigate it. So being able to take the same curriculum, have two different paths, allows the driver to drive whichever direction using the same vehicle.
Now, Brian, who all of our listeners from Command Center really love, and they call him the professor, you're going to take that over from him. So he's ready to be done training. So are you going to train together to kind of transition over to just you, or what's the plan?
The plan is Brian's staying with me. Like, he's not gonna leave me. I know he keeps trying to leave me,
Yes,
but
he
he's
does.
not gonna leave me. I'm fully on board with teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, and I cannot do this curriculum by myself. I can't do this curriculum by myself without every team member at the command center. Like, this cannot be curated on its own, and it's not all for me.
Yes.
Or by me. So I need everybody to come together. And Brian's one of the biggest points of that for me, to be able to be like, he has been here and he knows more than I know.
Mm-hmm.
And I need him to help me get to his level of knowledge. And he's not getting rid of me. Like, he does all of my videos for me. He's been great at like learning with me and receiving the information. And every time I'm like, I need the video to be like a little cleaner, or I need the information to be a little more like fluid, and he's on board. So he just needs me to explain. And our relationship has really grown in a trainer aspect where I'm like, he wants to hand it off. I want to take it, but I want to work together.
Yes.
With
Yeah.
everybody to build something. I cannot do this by myself.
Yes. And his bravery of taking things on. He saw me do the training one year, which was so minimal and so archaic now. And I had no experience teaching. And so I had to teach all the new classes. And he would be like, oh, can I please come to a class? I want to do that so bad. And I'm like, you're doing it next year. And so the same way, we all develop our roles. Then we transition to something else, kind of hand it off to somebody. And we are hiring a very good group of people. And so some of them have been professors and teachers, and I know they will love to be taught by you and then partner with you going forward. So it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
So it's January 24th and Spring Rush is upon us. Why do you start training so early?
I love this question. I think that every success in life is measured best by using the 90-10 method. And so the 90-10 method is like 90% of your effort should be preparation. We need to prepare for the 10%, which is just the action. So when we are starting training in January, to me, that's us doing our 90. And then when Spring Rush starts, that's the 10%. And that just equals 100% of us crushing the rush. So
I love it. That's going to be exciting. So how many sessions will you have? How are the classes laid out, and how many people will you have in each class?
I think based off of last year and what I saw happen last year, I think how many sessions will depend on how successful the hiring and the turnover rate is. And then as far as scheduling, right now we are scheduling 1 week virtual to 1 week in-house, and it kind of flip-flops. And then I think the training schedule and the participants are based on the demand. Mm-hmm. And I'm just trying to be ready to provide to ensure that we can crush this demand.
Yes. So there's 10 to 12, planning to have 10 to 12 in each group. So there's always a chance that somebody doesn't show up on their first day, but we're preparing for them in case they don't. So 10 to 12, and that is going to be in 4 different sessions. So we're going to be very busy people.
Yeah.
Can you share with us where you see yourself long-term at Augusta? Knowing that is going to change because we change so fast, but as of right now, at this time, where do you see yourself?
So long term, I think I would love to showcase my skill sets when it comes to organization and planning for success. I really enjoy teaching and connecting and team building with people. So like long term, I think it's just where the company needs me, and I'm just ready to show up for that.
That's great. How do you feel it'll benefit the team with the new thing we're doing this year where we assign each person to be somebody else's success partner?
I think this is a great idea. I think it will eliminate the unnecessary time where everybody is like just trying to help the one person. And this helps the one person have the solid like guidance to check in with and be. And it also like allows you to be able to see like who is capable at like leading another person. And that way you can gauge like who has that skill set and how can we put them in a place to do more with that skill set. So giving like a little challenge of like, hey, be this person's success, partner, then we can gauge how successful that person is and how much they were involved in building that person up.
And for the listeners, just to let you know, when somebody is trained by a trainer, they get attached to that trainer. So it's always that person that they want to go back and keep asking questions to. So just like in Augusta, we train that an estimator, once he goes to the property, he never goes back again. He hands it off to the team. The team does the job. It goes back to the office. They're invoiced, and he never goes back to that property again. So I feel like that once you guys have taught them, they should be able to be handed off to somebody else who knows the systems and can take them to the finish line. So my goal is to put this puzzle together because of people on all different shifts in time zones, and to get it so that everybody's facilitated correctly, to have somebody on their shift. And then instead of asking like a fire hose, asking everybody a question, they go to their success partner first. And if their success partner doesn't know the answer, they reach out to somebody that's a more seasoned agent. But at the end of the month, like you said, we'll find out who can lead, and then they will come to their one-on-ones and at the same time give a report for their trainee. And then when I have their trainee, I can tell them, hey, your trainer said you're doing fantastic, but you need to be more confident in your skills, or something like that. Or they feel like you're just not catching this one part. How can we better support you? How could we make the training different to make it better? And I'm really excited to see all the changes that we've made and how they actually play out in Spring Rush.
Yes. Yes.
What are the months that we consider Spring Rush?
I am very confused on this because I think like each location has their own like when they stop certain things. But for me, I would think that Spring Rush starts, is it in the February, March?
Yes, because what happens is they start hiring and they start mowing, most of them the first week of March. However, there's been others in the South that have been mowing all winter, but the majority of people start mowing the beginning of March. And so March starts ramping up. So the phone is ringing a lot. So that's why we need everybody confident and good to go. But really, the first week of April, after you've done that first invoicing of March, it's where the phones go crazy, the grass is growing, and we just really take off. But March is necessary to have everybody trained because it just goes straight up from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have mowed grass in February before, and it was crazy. Like just once we've ever done that, and it was growing and it was warm, but that rarely happens. So it really is into March, further into March where it gets going. But our mowing schedule is definitely the first week of March.
Rad.
So our focus always is the franchisee. Everything you build and everything I build in people and in our team is because we are trying to make the franchisees successful. And we always come back to that. Anything we build, any system, how does this affect the franchisee? Does it make them have to do less in a day? Where can we block for them? Where can we best serve them? So how are you hoping your training impacts the franchisees?
I hope to make an impact by implementing a training standard Augusta has never delivered on a scale this high to help ensure franchisees will experience the most current Augusta standard and the most efficient and valued added services for all end customers. That's including franchisees and all of their customers. So that's my plan.
So by the time you release these people out into the wild, so to speak, you want them to feel like be almost to where they've caught the systems at least, and will be able to help the franchisees by helping their customers right away.
Yes, and be confident. I think that's like the number one thing is like I think people are not confident when they leave the training because it's very intimidating because it's such a multi-layer system.
Hmm.
And trying to divulge a multi-layer system to somebody who has no idea what's going on, it's all about like I have to visualize the entire picture and be able to build the sandwich so that they can understand the big picture, so that they can have their own goals and know what we're reaching for.
Yeah. So, what do we actually do for the franchisees? For those that aren't part of the franchise, what does Command do? What are they all about?
Oh man, we do all of their office work. We do their invoicing, we do their onboarding, we do emails, we do everything that would take away from them mowing the grass and doing the things that they want to do. So we just help handle their customers, handle all in-house office items.
So, would they need to hire office staff if they have Command Center?
They would not. No, we can handle it.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So all the difficult phone calls trying to collect money from people, we'd have that for them.
Yes.
That's great. Are you feeling excited, anxious, nervous? What are you feeling?
Oh, I feel very excited. I had so much fun during Spring Rush because it was so fast paced and the time at work went by so fast. And every day I left work, I was like, I had so much to talk about because there was so much input happening. And
Yes.
for like me, I love input and there was just a lot of it. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it because I'm a goal-oriented person, and if we have a goal to crush the rush, I'm in it.
Me
Like,
too.
let's do it. Let's do it. I want to like make sure everybody can reach, and I'm excited.
Our goal is to change the professionalism in the industry. That's what the franchisees uphold. That's what we uphold. I gave you a trophy a few weeks ago for being the most professionally dressed in the office. How is that a challenge, do you think, when it's supposed to say Augusta Lawn Care, and it's usually t-shirts and sweatshirts, which are fine, but you and I are trying to be an example to the team without saying anything to
Mhm.
raise the bar. Is that hard?
Honestly, I don't find it hard. I find a lot of people come to me and they're asking me about it, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, like I want to be comfortable at work and I enjoy fashion. I enjoy looking and presenting myself in a certain way. And so this is an avenue and it honestly I read this book about like how you set your environment up to mentally help you be
Mhm.
more better, successful, organized. And I kind of view that the same way of when I arrive at work. I'm
Yes.
trying to arrive to organize, appear like successful, like I am trying to fit what I'm trying to reach. And I think we're changing the professionalism in lawn care. And I think that should also reflect in our office setting. And if we are front facing to the franchisees, I want to appear to be like, I'm not in my pajamas and I'm
Mhm.
here to like give you good quality work. And I want to appear as good quality too.
But what's interesting, we aren't face to face with the franchisees
Right.
and we're not customer facing. So it's got to be an internal resolution that I'm going to be a professional no matter who can see me when I'm alone.
Mhm.
So we've listened to a lot of business books and they say act like where you want to be, dress like where you want to be, behave like where you want to be. And we absorb that and we change, but that moves me to my next point about Audible. Have you enjoyed having the Audible for employees? And what kind of books are in there for us? And why do you think it's so hard to inspire employees to listen?
Um, so I do think it's helpful. I find myself challenged. Okay, so I would not participate too much in the books just because I manage my own energy. And so if I'm already
Mhm.
reading a book at home, I don't try to if I read too many books at once, I won't read any of them.
Yes. Yeah.
So I manage when I'm doing it. But you recently just did something that changed my thought process on the Audible. And I feel like maybe if you did the same thing for other people, maybe more people would engaged. And it was just a more like a personal one-on-one. Like when you came on the training chat and you were like, I got this book for training. I absorbed that as, this is a challenge for you, Brittany. And if you want to grow, here is it. This is distinctly for you. And I was like, all right, I'm going to read this book because it did apply directly to what I was trying to do. And I knew that you knew that. And it felt more personal and connected. And it made me want to reach. It made me want to read the book. It made me want to, I want to meet all the expectations. Always. And I will always reach for it. But I will get distracted. And you came in a way that you haven't before, where you were like, here is this, it will help you. And I was like, I'm reading it, I'm in it. So just having that little bit of a challenge. But again, I am a goal-oriented person, and goals can come in the smallest form. It could be like, I'm going to make cookies tonight, goal, boom, do it. But when you challenge me and you give me something and it's directly to me, and so now we are like holding each other accountable and you're coming at me, then I'm more likely to reach back, because now it's us together.
Yes.
And it's personal and it's not just for a team thing. And so maybe if we want more people to engage, we should personalize it more so that they have more of a tie to it.
Yeah.
And that's how I took it.
No, that's awesome. And I have done that before, like when people have lost loved ones and things. I've purchased some books on grief, and then other people have said, oh, I've struggled with, I have these family members that have bipolar, and I buy several books on bipolar. And then in that case, I don't want to be bossy or pushy or like, you need this to change. And then the same with extreme ownership. You know, I'm willing to pay people a lot of money, because once you start reading that, you can't be the same, because you keep thinking all the time, well, is that really my fault? No, that's not my fault. And then you start to think, well, if I could make a difference, is it kind of my fault for not trying to make a difference? Like, you can't really walk away and just discard that going forward. So it's pretty awesome to be on the team together. I'm really excited about the future. I really want to meet up at the end of the season and see for both of us how it went. How out of I plan to stop hiring at 45, but out of our 45 people who stuck through the spring rush, we have some employees that recommended others that they thought would fit. And then when they've been there 3 months and they've become successful, the person who recommended them gets $300. So it motivates them to be like, hey, do you need anything? How can I help you? Is your success partner helping you and, you know, helping you succeed? And where can I help you? Or like, hey, don't do that. You know, it's so great that it is a participatory thing for everyone. So what did you come into work last Monday and see in the office?
Oh, a gigantic check. It was huge.
What did it say? And did you know anything about what was going on?
No, I had no idea. I think we were all trying to figure out. I feel like we were all like a bunch of animals looking at in our like new environment. We're like, what is that? Like, we lost the Christmas tree and then we got a giant check.
Yes, that's so cool. Yes, tell me what you observed on it.
Okay, so what I saw the check for was like, it was $4,000 and one virtual employee and one command center employee. And then there wasn't much like else. We were just all like, what's with this check? And then everybody's like trying to like consult with each other, like what they know of the check. So
it was we had this planned for weeks, and we got, I don't even know how many feet it was, this gigantic sign that completely covers the wall. And Brian inspired the thing. He's like, we need like a mantra or something, like crush the rush or whatever. And I was like, I'm taking that and running with it. So we made a gigantic banner. And I told Mike, I want Max running across the front of this thing. So that's what we did. We put a huge sign up. We worked all day on January 1st so we could have it ready for everybody. We made Crush the Rush mouse pads, cups, and we put them on everybody's desks. Took the Christmas tree away, like you said, and then the check was there, but we said nothing. So it was like Monday night or Tuesday night, we're like, we got to make a video. They're all wondering what's up. And so tell us what the video was about that Mike posted for the team.
Okay, so the video was like, each person, virtual and in-house, will get $4,000 for complete attendance during the rush. And then whoever wins, or it's a drawing, so you'll put in your name, and then it'll be a drawing for the $4,000. And when you get the $4,000, you should go on a trip and then video it.
Yes. So $4,000, our Philippine team, like, just mind blowing for them.
Sure.
Like, that money would be so meaningful, and they don't have to spend it on the trip, but we're hoping that they'll take some time off work and it'll buy them plane tickets and pay for a full trip. And I hope some of them come over here. That would be really cool. A lot of them have family here. So the competition is hilarious. The people saying, nope, that's got my name on it. And so what I added a little benefit so people can get some more raffle tickets. And that is if they sign up for their one-on-ones without having to be told every month. Well, I had to laugh because my calendar kept going ding, 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 ding. And I didn't know what was going on, but then some of them told me they went and set up their appointments for the entire year. So they had set up 12 appointments each. And that's why my phone was going like that. I have these 30 people all setting up their appointments.
I had no idea you could do that.
Well, I didn't either. They just took that one link. It's because I have it set up so it's infinite. So people can do appointments infinitely. And so I figured there's no reason to really not do it infinitely. So yeah, nobody's going to want to talk to me in 5 years. They don't have that all planned out. So obviously people have it planned out for a year. So you can do that too if you want.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm sure they'll have to get switched around though. Is there anything that you could say to others who are feeling this daunting challenge wherever they are, their business, their job, their family, like you did that with your kid? That was a daunting task. And they're facing those things like you are. How do they set themselves up for success that they can actually achieve this and look back on it with a good feeling?
I would say practice the 90-10, stay organized, stay focused, and give yourself grace.
Yeah. And then when you did this with your kid, you shared this a little bit about it before and how you had to start learning, but you had your own limitations. So people hearing you will say, well, I don't learn well. I can't read well. I can't give any kind of information well. How would you respond to that excuse?
So I think that I try to cut ahead of that excuse. And so like when I was training Kate last week, I started off with are there any learning disabilities that I need to be aware of? Is there anything that I can modify or help you? And I just check in with those things so that I can make sure that whatever I'm handing her, she will be successful. And so it's like those things can be excuses, but if you're going to use them as an excuse, it tells me that you are already aware of them and you're choosing to have it be your excuse, because it doesn't have to be your excuse. And especially if you're aware of it. If you're aware of it, you should be outsourcing any tools so that you can be successful. Mm-hmm. None of these are going to stop you from being successful. You just have to work a little bit harder and believe in yourself a little bit more so that you can reach a little harder.
Where can people go for resources to learn? Do you go on YouTube? Do you get books from the library?
So you can go to YouTube. There's also you can also always just call a lot of your schools, libraries. Go to your library. A lot of people who have learning disabilities, a lot of library staffs are trained to help people learn and navigate how to read, how to do certain things. Libraries they're such a great resource that we don't tap into enough in our communities. And if we don't tap into them, we will lose them. And so it's something that I always try to make sure that people are aware that they're still available, and you don't even have to go to it. Just go get a library card, and we can keep our libraries in our systems as long as we have cards. And so that's probably my best directive is if you feel like you need some tools, you need some suggestions, go to a library.
Well, you are just blowing all the excuses out of the water.
Yeah, that's my
So
job.
I'm excited too. I'm excited to see if we can do this. I know we can do it. I'm excited to see like how prepared are we? And that is my fear, that I wouldn't be prepared because it's for the franchisees. So you know how people are raised with certain insecurities, certain family genes or whatever, and then they're afraid. Let's say you were born and you were very poor, and you're always worried there wouldn't be enough food for your family or whatever, and it keeps you going. It's a healthy fear.
Right.
And so I have a healthy fear because the last 2 years we didn't have enough people that were trained and could answer all these calls. But this year we put so many great things in place that are going to make it crazy busy for the franchisees. So they've got instant quotes, they got the door hangers, they've got, people can go right online and get a price off their website, and their leads are going to be through the roof. And so I don't think they are going to be as ready as we are, but I hope we're ready enough to be able to manage all the growth for them and to encourage them. Like, don't stop marketing. Like, don't shut everything down. This is the time to go for it. And hopefully they feel so supported by us that when they call and they want to quit, that we can coach them to keep going.
Right.
So in closing, would you like to share any quote or inspirational something that helps you to stay motivated and centered?
Yes. So I think since I started putting the training material together, the thing I keep finding myself saying is can't, never did. So I have to say this to myself constantly so I can get out of my own way and I can show up to the challenge because can't, never did. And so I will just keep reaching.
That is very good. So you're saying we should at least try. Give it a go.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate your time today, and I know it will help the franchisees for sure to know the kind of effort, the thousands, without exaggeration, hours that we're putting into preparing to serve them well in the spring. And I hope they see the results of it and are really happy.
I think so. I'm excited.
Me too. You have a wonderful day. Thank you.
You too. Bye.